Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome in our last webinar of a series of webinars we organized this week. My name is Werner Schapen. I'm responsible at IDEN for partner management, and together with my colleague Mariette Doosje, who is the product owner of ConnectIT 365, we will organize this webinar. A little bit about IDEN. Here you see, and that's to make you jealous, our medieval in the south of the Netherlands. And it's in this castle that we make those beautiful applications. And it's a very nice place to work and just a couple of miles from the highway. Just a small overview of our applications. There is a ShipIT, which allows to manage shipments from out of Business Central and connected to thousands of carriers. There is direct banking to manage incoming and outgoing payments connected to thousands of banks. Connected, we're going to talk about that a little bit later. We have ApproveIT, which allows to manage a document flow using electronic signing. And then there is Dino, and actually Dino is a pun. It refers to dinosaurs. When in the old times, it was very easy to add fields in Navision. Using Business Central, that's a little bit more difficult. Therefore, we made the application Dino 365. And now I leave the word to Mariette.
You forget one, Werner?
Yeah. So,
very important.
About us, we have more than 400 partners in 40 countries. And I think we need to change to 3,500 because I didn't count the last time, but I think we are around 4,000 licenses sold year to date. Now it's yours, Mariette.
Yes, thank you. Well, today we are going to take a look at ConnectIT 365. In the people that have accepted our invitation for this webinar, I saw some familiar names, but also some new names. So first I will explain what ConnectIT is. ConnectIT is a toolbox that you can use in Business Central, where you can import and export files like XML, JSON, CSV, and Excel files. And you can use methods like FTP, REST, SOAP, Azure Storage, Dropbox, Event Grid, and all kinds of methods. The highlights of the app is that without any code you can interface with any kind of other application. So with ConnectIT there's a large variety of methods available, so you can almost connect to any platform you like. There's also an advanced scheduler available where you can schedule the interfaces. There's detailed logging available, so you can see how the interfaces are performing, and also there are notifications when there's a failure or a success that you can receive an email when the interface is down or is successfully exported or imported. A question that we get often asked is what kind of integrations do other customers have with ConnectIT? Well, there are a lot of customers using it for intercompany, as you can see here. It's you can use it for over multi-tenants, but you can also use it in one tenant to export and import data in multiple companies, but also used for web shops, platforms like bol.com, PIM systems, for suppliers and customers to send purchase orders or sales orders. So it's a very large scope that you can provide the interfaces to. In this demo, I first will show you how an import definition looks. export definition looks almost the same as the import definition. I'm going to create a new export definition, so we'll also see how that part is working. And in the import definition, I will also show a new feature where we have task groups and flows. And at the end, I can also show some common functions that you can use in a definition. A definition in ConnectIT is actually the mapping of the interface, so that's maybe good to know for people who are not familiar with ConnectIT, that that is the interface. At the end of the demo, there's space for questions. So if you would like to ask a question, then please put it in the Q&A, and then we can answer it at the end of the demo. This is for the end. I will switch to Business Central. As you can see, I have here a dashboard for ConnectIT. This is when you install ConnectIT and you select the role manager ConnectIT, then you have an overview in the dashboard of all the running interfaces and some detailed information. First, I'm going to start with the bol.com order import. As you can see in the general tab, there's a data format, JSON set in this case, but you can also import XML, CSV, or Excel files. In this case, we use the method REST, but there are other options like FTP, SOAP, Azure, Dropbox, email, intercompany, and also mixed option. Like I mentioned just before, we have did some extra development on the flow tasks, and in this case, it is possible to add a pre-processing task where we add the standard Business Central code unit to open a sales order. And in the post-processing task, I am going to release the sales order. And maybe good to know for people who don't know bol.com, but bol.com is a big consumer platform where everybody can buy goods. And if you connect with bol.com, you can import their orders into BC. So what we are going to do with this definition card is we are going to import the orders from bol.com into the sales header and into the sales line. And you see here that these are the file fields that we are going to import. And this is the translation, the mapping to Business Central. Sometimes you have data that is coming in, but it cannot be stored in Business Central without transforming it to Business Central business rules. For example, the order date could come in as a date and time format, and with a function that we have available here, you can transform it into a date that Business Central can understand. We have a lot of functions standards available in ConnectIT. On our support site, there's a detailed description per function what it does. But at the end of this demo, I will show some common functions that very often are used. If we scroll to the right, you see here also that it's possible to set a filter. For example, if you only want to import order numbers with, should put it on the data item, sorry. If you, for example, the order ID is coming in and you want to only filter on everything that starts with an S, then you can filter out only the orders that you would like to import. I'm going to remove this right now. And there's also an option to set the external identifier, so you know that this is the unique value for the sales header that is coming in. If you set this external identifier, you have the option for new record and record exist to change this and to decide what to do if a new record, a new order is coming in, or what to do if the order is already existing in Business Central. For example, when you have the record exist, you can also decide to do nothing or to update, recreate, duplicate, or delete. Then there's also column field exists. This is only for the field level to say, okay, for only this field, I don't want to change anything if the order is coming in again. Then you think maybe she forgot to mention the validate. No, I will keep this for the last one. The validate function is triggering Business Central rules. For example, if you import an item by the item number, then Business Central, by validating, will also get the sales price, the description of the item, the unit of measure. So all kinds of information is coming in the sales order lines because we set the validation on. And the advantage of that is that you also don't need much information from the external party to import it as a sales order. And also another option, because Business Central, if you know it well, then you need to set some specific key fields that need to be set. If it's not there, then you will get an error message. For example, the document type, if you want to import a file, an order in Business Central, you need to be specific and say this is a document type 1 for order. Because in the sales header, there's also an invoice, there's also a quote. So you need to set the type upfront before you can create the sales order. The same for the sales order number. You need to set an order number, and in this case, we use a function for it. If there's not a good number that is provided from the external party, then you can add a function to create a new sales order number from the number series that you select here. For the lines, it's the same. There are also some key fields in the lines that need to be set. You can always see this at the right. That's a part of the primary key, as they call it in Business Central. You always need to set these first, if it's not in the message, as a constant value. Besides the key fields, it's also possible to add other fields to add a constant value, or maybe use a function to create a value. And what also good is to know that if you have external apps or maybe customizations in your Business Central environment, it is just possible to add any field, any table in ConnectIT. So from every app or customization, it is possible to add data in and get data from. Okay. Um, and some other part for the processing task before I'm going to process this import definition. It is also good to know that if the order would already exist, that this task will open the order and then it will process the data from the mapping into BC, and then it will close with a release with the post-processing task. If you have another task that need to be done, then it's also possible to create a group task where you can combine some code units. I'll show it. It's called task group list. In this case, I have a release and a post of the sales order, and as you can see here, I have multiple task numbers that I can add. In these tasks, we are going to connect it to a standard Business Central code unit or maybe a custom code unit. And if you add here the multiple tasks, then you can make sure that it first is doing this task, then that task, and then that task. So you can yeah, make it more automized the than that what we had before. So when I'm going to process this, I'm first going to import this data. Normally it would be scheduled, but in this case I will show it manually, and I need to think a while. It's a sandbox and today it is slow. Oh, I think there's someone playing with the environment at the moment. We have a license message. That's not so very nice because I have to change it. I'm going to stop sharing my screen because it's not the other one is not so yeah, license that I want to show. So maybe I'm going to do this, and I'm going to switch to another environment to get another license. Okay, I'll share my screen again. Okay, and well, we will go back to the definition. So here we have the bol.com order, and it's good to know that if you get a license message, then you have too many active definitions, and you will get that message that I got before. Yeah, I processed, now it went very quickly. I processed the input data, and then you can see here that it has created an entry. And you can see this as a buffer table where the data is coming in. So this is coming in from bol.com, the information. And yeah, to the right you see some fact boxes with some details about this import entry. And when we process, you see that it is successful, and when we go to the related tab to the imported records, we see here that there are records created. Also here in the related tab, you can see at the import log entries that there's logging created, and because I have set the logging level on debugging, I see all the steps as well that ConnectIT does to create this sales order. And you see again the data. So if we go now to the sales orders, and I will filter on the external document number. Then we see here that the order is created. And yeah, in this case, everything is set in this order. So this is for the import side, how it works. Now I'm going to show how you can create an export definition. And afterwards I will show some export definitions. Well, at the export side, we click on new to create a new definition, then add a description. In this case, I will show the file we want to import. In this case, we have an offer that we want to import in the as well in the sales header. It's an XML file. So these are some settings I need to do to make sure that when we use the import definition wizard, that it will see this as an XML file. Okay, turn this one on active. Then I will say create the definition lines, and I will have to pick up the file. So I'm dragging and dropping it into the wizard, and it sees the first element in the file, and it has in this case the same name. So we say, yeah, this is a data item, and we are going to connect this one to the sales header in Business Central. You see also that there are elements that maybe not are referring to a table, and you can just skip these. So we click on next, and then we come to the sales lines, and I will connect this to the sales lines in Business Central. The next one is also a next element. I will skip that. I will skip also the subdata and location details. And then if it's done, then the mapping is created for us. What is also good to know, in this case we have an XML file. JSON files are almost always a little bit more simple, but in this case we have a schema available, and in the export definition this is already added as a namespace declaration, and all the layers are also available. And if the wizard can make a match between the files from the external party and the fields from the internal in the Business Central, then it will make a suggestion, for example, for this document type and number. Now, the only thing what you need to do is to add the other fields if you need them in Business Central. And so on and so on. So until you're finished, and in this case it's the export side, so you don't have constant values because you can set these up here. So if you want to set a value that is always the same, for example, the weight is always 10, then you can add here the constant value. And there's no different tab for it. What you need to do at the export side is to create, to connect the key fields. Now my screen is a little bit small, I will make it a little bit bigger. In this case, we have the sales header, the number, and the sales lines, also the document number, and then we have to say at the document number, this is the number in the sales header. So you have the connection between the sales header and the sales lines. In the export, it's also possible to say, okay, this field I don't want to send in the message, so the output data is turned off. And you can also set an array, so this means that you will have multiple sales headers in one file. At the export side, it is also possible to add a table monitor, for example, to monitor the name or all the modifications on the document number or other fields that are in the definition available. If you have set this trigger, then you need to refresh your session, and if the trigger is set on specific fields, then every change or insert will be monitored in the export queue. In this case it's still empty, but if you have set the scheduler on, then it will be picked up with the scheduler and will be exported when the scheduler is running. At the export side, you also have space for the flow tasks. And what I did not show at the input side is you have the alert tab where you can set a new alert for a failure, and you can set it per email. You can also use SMS or WhatsApp, but then you need a Twilio account to create the SMS or WhatsApp message to your phone. Here is the logging tab, where you can set how you want the logging to be visible. For example, in the wall.com, I use the debug option, and then you can see every step. There's also a project tab available. With the projects, it's possible to batch, import, and export multiple interfaces at once. And at the export side, I've also prepared some example functions. And I see that we are almost running out of time, so I have to make it a little bit quicker. In the export definition, you also have some options, for example, to change the data from Business Central into the data that the external party needs. For example, I think I have it here in the description. Now, this is a get temp file. Then it's here in the base unit of measure. What you can do is convert data with this function into the data that the external party needs. And when you open the function list, you have the option conversions. And in this case, I will show this demo URM. You can see that if you have the conversion card open, that you can set a default value for the unit of measure in this case, and you can decide what the external value is and what the internal value is. And by using this function, you can say, okay, this conversion code is needed for this field. Also, other functions that are very often used are the sendTempFol and the date to date, and this is to transform a date time to a date. SetTempFol is used to set temporary value, as I opened already also here in the description. You can see that you can get the temporary value at any time you would like. There's also an option to clear the temporary value. So if you want to set it again in the same definition, you need to do the clear tempfol. And you can also completely delete the complete name tag and value. Yeah, I have a lot of things to tell you, but Werner is telling me that it's the time is ticking. One more then. Here also I do a get temp file temporary value, and in this case we have a function to look up into table item references, where I can look up the item number and then give as an output number the EAN code, in this case the reference number. These functions are just handy to use when you need to transform it for the external party. Concat is also one of the things that is used very often. This is used to combine multiple values. For example, if you have an item number and a variant number, and you can combine it with a concat, and you say, okay, I have the item number with a separator and then the variant number, for example. So as you can see, there are a lot of functions available, and yeah, I think if you want to know more about yeah, all the functions and how ConnectIT is working, then we definitely can plan an extra session to talk through all this functionality.
Okay, thank you, Mariette.
You're welcome.
We do have a couple of questions in the chat box. The first question is, can I import the value of the general ledger account dimension?
Can I import the value ledger account? Yes. If you have a, yeah, where does the data come from is my first question. And yeah, you can add in the input definitions any table you would like, but I don't know if that is the answer on the question. Can you see who has asked the question?
No, I account, but I see the initials, so I can send an email that we can organize a Teams meeting for more information.
Yeah, I have an item journal import here, but I don't know if that is the.
Okay, but we do it in a one-to-one session.
Yeah, that's better,
There's a
I
second
think.
question. Can we add our specific functions to format data by development?
To format data by development.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is also a question back to format data by development. Yeah, what kind of development would you like?
Okay, that's something.
Yeah, these are very specific questions that are, yeah.
Okay, but that's something we can do one-to-one. The thing is with ConnectIT, it's like a toolbox, and you can do a lot of things with the toolbox. If you take, for instance, a toolbox, you can repair cars, but also can make furniture, and it's depending on the things you would like to do. But this is a general overview, and then we can do one-to-one meetings and see how we can solve your problems. There is one, but I think it has been already answered. Can we link multiple sources to the same destination? For example, I have a file with address 1 and 2. Is it possible to concatenate them in one single address field in the destination system?
Yes,
that has been
possible.
answered.
Yeah.
And then there is another question coming in. You present us a function like date to date, month, year. Can we add your own function? Can we add our own function? I think that has to be.
Oh, that's also some code questions. No, yeah, okay, yeah, it's not that easy to add functions, but yeah, I guess it's possible. But my question back would be, why would you think you need it?
Yeah, but there are 3 questions from the same person, so that's I think that we need to organize a meeting, Gabrielle.
Yeah.
So and to finish this presentation, if you could like to show again the last slide, please, Marietta. So if you need information, if you like a one-to-one meeting, please contact us. It's a very easy mail address. It's sales@ident.nl, and we will organize as soon as possible a meeting, or we will try to answer your questions. I see there is nothing coming in now for the moment. No. Then I would like to thank you all for being present in this session. And I wish you a very nice end of the day, and hope to see you soon again. Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
ident. Simplify your workflow. Explore the perfect fit for your industry at ident.nl.